Well, these political parties, they do certain works. Let's see what their functions are. The first important function of any political party is that they have to successfully contest elections. They have to stand in the elections, they have to win elections, they have to actually undergo this process, as I said, in order to become a true political party. Unless there are no political parties, we cannot have a true democratic election in the country. If there are candidates who are just there and contesting election from various walks of life with different ideologies, think of the atmosphere in the parliament. Every head has a different thought, and when you have different thoughts, you cannot have a successful government, because you will not be able to reach at a common platform. So, when you are just quarreling, there are bickerings amongst yourself, what kind of government do you give to the country? What is the kind of programs that you set forth for the countrymen? Therefore, political parties need to contest election, win in the elections, sit in the assembly, and have to have a common ideology and program for the successful running of democracy. Next is, they do make policies and programs. Definitely, we have seen even in the earlier chapters that they all put forward a memorandum. They all put forward a policy program before the election, wherein they tell their countrymen that this is how they are going to have the framework of the government. So, the political parties are required to have successful policies, program, implementation, so that makes a true democratic setup. Next, we have making laws. Making laws, I know all the laws are made in the legislature, but what happens? Who is sitting in the legislature? The members of the political parties. So, these members of the political parties who have a common ideology can only make laws, because if I agree, you agree, and some of us agree on a common thing, only then we can make it a law. If I don't agree, you don't agree, they don't agree, there is one person who feels that this is right, then of course no law can be made in the country. Therefore, for the successful running of democracy, as I said, we need to have political parties. Well, I continue with the rest of the functions in the next clipping. Well, we were talking about the functions of the various political parties, and I have already explained 3 functions to you all. The first one was that they contest elections. Second was they make policies and programs. Third is they make laws. Well, the fourth one is political parties form and run the government. As I said earlier, the major motive of a political party is that they are in fact looking for power. Therefore, when they contest election, when they win election, they actually form a government. When they sit and they form a government, they sit in the parliament, they run the government. Simple as that. Meaning to say, you have to contest election to win election, and after winning election, you become the major political party, the ruling party, and after becoming the ruling party, you run the government on the ideologies, programs and policies that you had put forth to your countrymen. Well, the next important function is role of opposition. Now, political parties, not all of them, can actually become ruling parties. Therefore, some of them have to play the role of opposition. Since they have not been able to get more seats then the ruling party, they sit in the parliament as opposition and act as check on the government. Well, they play a very, very, very important role, because if the government goes wrong, if the opinion of the public is crushed, if supposing they become lazy, if they are giving deaf ears to a problem, then it's the opposition which shouts and immediately tells the government that, look, you are sleeping, which means opposition is in fact more important than the ruling party. Well, next is they shape public opinion. Now, how do they shape public opinion? You see, in the previous chapter, we had spoken about movements, about pressure groups, and all these organizations are in fact the extension of political parties. So, when they go and work in the fields, when they are actually collecting the views of the people, they are in fact shaping public opinion. Remember, they can be very dangerous. They can shape the public opinion positively or negatively. So, the political parties have to play a very, very careful role, because by the act that they do, they can shape the public opinion in the manner they actually want. The next is access to government machinery and welfare schemes. Well, it is said that people are afraid to go and meet a government officer for a welfare scheme, for any help that he wants, but he feels close, not that he trusts. Remember, there is a difference. He feels close, but not that he trusts to the local leader that he has. So, the people of the political parties, the members of the political parties are in fact very close to the people, which means that these people have access to the government machinery, that is, whatever the problems are of their local people, they go and tell it to the government, because not that they are doing anything, not that they are doing a welfare job, but because they are in fact doing something which can make them sit next time in the parliament. So, these are the functions of various political parties in, say, any country of the world. Let's sum up before and let's sum up and then go once again to all the functions that you have. Contesting election. Well, political party becomes political only if it contests election. Making policies and programs, that is, vast multitude of opinions are actually made into a smaller magnitude, because everybody's opinion cannot become one, but political parties do this wonderful job. Then making laws. As they sit in the legislature, they make laws. Next is they form and run the government. If they win the election, they are the ruling party who makes and runs the government. If they don't come in the government, that is, they do not win the election, then they act as opposition. Very, very important role to play. Next, they are shaping public opinion by the policies, programs. Then lastly, they are in close touch with the government machinery and people feel closer to them, that is, they can go and knock their doors anytime. Therefore, they are closely associated to the public. These are the various functions of political parties. I shall continue about the political parties in the next clipping.